What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So today we're shooting this real estate listing, but we're going to be just using a smartphone. So I hope this video helps you if you're looking into getting into this, and let's get into it. Quick shout out to today's video sponsor, Epidemic Sound, which is where all the music and sound effects in this video are coming from. So enjoy. All right, so as far as gear goes, it's really simple. We've literally just got this smartphone gimbal and an iPhone. It could be any smartphone with a super wide angle lens. That's what you need for this type of shoot. So to set it up, here's what we do. We just get this balanced. We're shooting this one horizontally. Make sure it looks balanced on the camera. So I've got my grid enabled and you can tell it's a little bit off. So I'm just pushing this, twisting it just a little bit. And I'm looking at the vertical lines on this room that I'm in to see if they are perfectly straight looking. And then that's how you know it's gonna be level while you're shooting. Pretty close. Usually if you're going between vertical and horizontal, you need to rebalance it a little bit. So, yeah. This gimbal pops out like that a little bit, so that gives you a little bit more control, and now we're ready to go. All right, I'm gonna give you a quick rundown on settings. So we have this in 4K 30 frames per second for most of the shots. Later on in the video, for some of the detail shots, I'm gonna switch this to 4K 60 frames per second to get a little bit of slow motion in there, but for most normal movements, I really like working with 4K 30 frames per second. So pretty much all we're gonna do for settings is click the brightest thing in the shot, and then if you hold your finger on it, it's gonna lock the exposure right there, and that's pretty much it. For brighter scenarios, it's really easy, but for darker scenarios, you do have to choose interior or exterior from time to time. So for this one, you might wanna click the interior and then scroll up a little bit to raise your exposure to get a nice clean exposure on the interior. But if you really want to show that window view, you can click the sky up there and it comes right in and looks really good. So literally that's it for settings. I know it seems really simple, but that's all. All right, so the first thing I always do is the outside, and I'm just gonna go and get a shot kind of swooping down the driveway to reveal the house and a little bit of the surroundings, but that's pretty much it. You want to keep it focused on the front of the house and keep it pretty straightforward and simple. So when you're doing these movements, you really want to make sure to keep your knees bent and walk as carefully as you can to keep everything smooth. And on this one, I'm just keeping the house in the center of the frame, keeping it really simple and nice. So it's usually good to get like 2 or 3 shots just in case you want variety later. So I'm going to do kind of a parallax shot of the same area. So same thing, kind of keeping the house in the center and doing a orbiting motion. Another thing that usually works is going all the way down the driveway, so I'm going to try that real quick. I'm just going to try to show the driveway and then go to the front door. So that's my main goal, to keep it kind of centered framed. Pretty straightforward. All right, so next for this fire area, I'm gonna get a shot from both sides. So showing that it's connected to the woods behind it, and then showing its connection to the house as well as I can. So I'm kind of showing the walk up to the fire area and keeping it centered as I kind of orbit around to show a little bit more of the surroundings as well. Had to wait a minute for this shot because the lighting drastically changed, and you want to keep it pretty consistent throughout your whole shoot. So waiting on those clouds. And for this chair area, I tried a couple different camera movements. So pushing in, pushing out, doing a side to side slider shot, just so I'll have options in the edit, and we'll see what works later. Okay, I think that'll be fine. So that's all the main outdoor stuff, but we also need to get this patio. So I think what I'm going to do is obviously get a shot from on there, kind of walking through either direction. I'm not sure which one's going to look better. But then I think I can also go onto that ledge and just kind of walk along that while showing the whole thing. So hopefully that'll work. I think I'll just leave my camera up here pointed down at me as I do it, so it's a little bit less risky, because I don't really want to fall down this cliff thing. All right, so now we gotta get ready for the inside. So if you're making real estate videos, you're doing video production, you need music. It's one of those things that makes or breaks your videos. And over the past like 4 or 5 years, I've been using Epidemic Sound for my business, for my client work, for all my YouTube videos, for all these examples for you guys, and couldn't be happier to partner with them. They have a massive library of music that's always getting updated, giving us exactly what we need to level up our videos at a very affordable price. With Epidemic Sound, it's super easy to find the perfect soundtrack for any project. You can easily search through their extensive library of music and sound effects by mood, by genre, by themes, or even just use their recommendations on your homepage based on what you typically download, which is what I do most of the time. If you need more than one option, you can just click this little find similar icon and you're set. It immediately gives you a ton of options. And if there's only one part of a song that you like, you can even select just that one part and find songs that are similar to that, which is really cool. So on top of already having great options for music and sound effects, all these little smart time-saving technology things that they've incorporated into the platform really make it worth it and make it a great experience. So if you haven't tried Epidemic Sound yet, it's definitely worth checking out. Try some stuff out on your own videos, see what you think. No pressure, obviously, but I think you're gonna like it. And when you sign up, make sure to remember that if you pay for either of the plans upfront for a year, you can get big discounts. So if you enjoyed this content, thank Epidemic Sound for making it happen. So I think I'm gonna leave the lights off except for some accents, like that one on the stairs where it's darker, because otherwise the walls are not gonna look very white. It kind of messes up the colors, and there's plenty of natural light from all the corners. So I think we're gonna be good. I've got these lamps on because it evens out the lighting a little bit. Otherwise the room gets a little too dark. So I think that's okay. All right, so typically for interiors, I do one shot going into each room. So whether that's this open area, so we divide it into the living room, the dining room, the kitchen, the entryway, and all the different bedrooms. I wanna make sure I get kind of the POV perspective, point of view, as if you were touring the house. So whatever the best angle is, that's what I go for. Sometimes I'll get like 2 or 3 just to have options in the edit, or in case a client is picky and wants revisions. It's always good to save your own back. But a lot of times, like bedrooms, there's only one entrance, so you kind of only have one option. All right, so for rooms like this, where it's really more modern and squared off, I really like to use a straight on angle where everything is lined up. So you got your verticals and your horizontals both lined up, and you're just moving straight in. That always looks really good. So compared to doing something like this, which is fine, less things are getting warped and you're kind of just showing off that square aspect a little bit better. And then to show off the counter space on the kitchen, I went back behind the dining table to do a bit of a push-in shot and show some of that connection as well. So I'm going to switch over to my telephoto lens, probably just the 2x, and get some shots of the sink and the stovetop and maybe some of these glasses or those glasses, or just little details of like little homey touches. That always adds a little bit to the video. So that's what we're doing next. I am going to switch this over to 60 frames per second so we can slow those down a little bit more, a little bit better in post-production though. Almost forgot. So 4K 60 for these. So I know some of that probably looked pretty funny, like why was I putting the phone in the sink? But basically I'll do just about whatever it takes to get the best composition to show each kind of product in its own best light and best angle. So the reason I did that is because the coffee machine has a power outlet coming out of it, so doing it from that angle instead looked a little better, so I was just trying it out. Now I'm gonna get a few more of these other areas just so we can have, you know, some variety of shots. Even though I think that honestly the wide shots are pretty much sufficient for a tour. And honestly, the wide shots on a phone look a lot more like DSLR mirrorless cameras compared to the zoomed in shots. So I kind of prefer them anyways. All right, so we're back to 4K 30 for these bedrooms. Just gonna do a basic push-in shot for each one in the bathroom. So, here we go. Just start back as far as you can, push record, click on the brightest part of the room. Don't hit the wall. So you'll notice for these shots, I am starting back a bit further than you would think and going into the room a little bit further than you might think so that I'll have extra space for editing these clips. Usually 10 to 15 seconds is a good amount of time for each shot. And a lot of times for bathrooms, to avoid the mirrors, it works really well to start all the way in and do a pull-out shot and just reverse that in the edit. Watch out for the mirror. So same thing, I'm just gonna come around the corner, show the whole room. That's basically it. All right, so since this is the primary bedroom, master bedroom, I want to get a couple extra detail shots of this to try to show like the window, the nice view, and the desk over there. So switching back to the 2x lens, and I'm going to stay on 60, back to 60. Okay, I'm gonna do one more kind of going over the handrail. So back to 4K 30, just a normal plain shot. And here we go. All right, so got a few options. Usually it takes a few tries, so don't worry about that. So, big thanks one more time to Epidemic Sound for making this video possible and for just being a really great company. All right, enjoy the video. that's that. Let me know what you think in the comments. If you got any questions, as always, make sure to drop them below, and I am here to help you guys. Might do another Q&A video again soon, focused on smartphone stuff, so make sure to get that comment in there before I make that video, and I'll be helping y'all out. But anyways, if you guys like this video, make sure to leave a comment, like the video, subscribe, and all that stuff so you don't miss out on future videos. All right, see y'all in the next one.